G'day folks, welcome to another Cyclone Chasers weather update on Tropical Cyclone Rita. This is a public update on the 25th of November 2019. My name's Chris Nitzo. This update sponsored by our major sponsor, Townsville Sheds and Garages. Real sheds, real value. Check them out at townsvillesheds.com. If you're in the market for a shed, remember that they can deliver your shed safe accredited shed kits Australia-wide. Folks, Tropical Cyclone Rita was named last night by the Fijian Met Bureau. The system has intensified rapidly through the day today and is now a Category 3 tropical cyclone. It's a very small cyclone, so therefore is prone to rapid intensification and also just as prone, and we'll see that coming up shortly, to rapid weakening. Alright, so the system is tracking in a south-southeast direction. It's to the north-northeast of Vanuatu. The system is expected to adopt a more southerly to southwesterly to westerly direction over the next few days. So the system will basically do a bit of a curve and come directly at Vanuatu. But as I'll show you very shortly, the system is expected to weaken. When you have a look at the track map here from the the Fijian Bureau, we can see they've labelled this cyclone a Category 3, so it's a severe tropical cyclone now. The expectation is that it may become a little bit stronger through the next 12 hours before it starts to weaken through the day tomorrow, and then into Wednesday and Thursday. The expectation is it'll weaken right back, and as it approaches Vanuatu, it's expected to weaken right back to a weak Category 1, or, more likely, just a tropical low. Now, the system from there is expected to continue to drift to the west, out here into the Coral Sea. No threat to Australia. Don't stress. It's not going to redevelop. It's not going to reform. But what it might do is it just pushes a trough across to the eastern Coral Sea. It will have no effect whatsoever on any of Queensland's weather, whether that be the increase in swell, increase in shower activity, none at all. No effect whatsoever. Can I state that? Once again, no effect whatsoever. So please, on the comments, don't ask us if it's going to rain. It's not going to help with rain at all. What it will do, though, is it'll make a nice little breezy day for the southern parts of Vanuatu as it drifts to the west here, with the opportunity for some fairly scattered shower activity. Plus, Vanuatu is a fairly mountainous island nation, so where we do get an enhancement of that lifting from that easterly flow with those mountain ranges, we'll see some higher rain totals. But overall, nothing overly spectacular with this system. Looking at the high-resolution modelling on our weather centre, this is the OCC weather centre for our subscribers. You can check it out at join.ozcyclonechasers.com.au if you're interested. You can see here the system is tracking in a south-southeast direction over the next 12 to 18 hours. The expectation is that it may intensify a little further through the nighttime hours tonight into tomorrow morning. And then once we get into about mid to late morning tomorrow, the expectation is we'll start to see a fairly significant weakening in the system back to about a Cat 1 by tomorrow night or very, very early Wednesday. The system unravelling due to an increase in vertical wind shear and an increase in dry air entrainment. They're the two things that are creating the decrease in intensity. As I mentioned, the system is expected to eventually drift to the west towards Vanuatu, and you can see it doing that as we go through Thursday and then into Friday. You can see the system tracking west into Vanuatu here and just creating a few gusty southeasterly winds due to a pressure gradient squeezing pattern from the system itself and a high pressure ridge down near New Zealand and the South Pacific and the Tasman. The overall guidance for this thing suggests that it will shift to the west, so we can see here very high confidence that it'll move to the west as a weak low pressure system and then sort of die somewhere in the eastern Coral Sea, well away from the Australian area of responsibility. What we might get is a trough that remains through the eastern and into the central Coral Sea, weakening as it pushes westwards, but there will be no effect on Queensland's weather. You can see that reflected in the OOZ GFS ensemble. We can see this south-southeasterly flow, possibly a bit more of an intensification in the next 6 to 12 hours before a weakening trend. And you can see this weakening trend also developing a westward motion as it weakens. And because what happens is we get a different level of steering that occurs once the system weakens, and that's why it shifts to the west. So basically what it means, if the system tried to remain strong, it'll just be ducking down into here. But because the system weakens, it comes under the influence of something completely different and starts to move to the west. The more it moves to the west, the more it will weaken. But that's the basic general rule. So while it starts moving west, it may still be reasonably strong, and then as soon as it continues to move west, it moves into an increasingly unfavourable environment in the Coral Sea, and that's what will kill it. The CMC model gives us a pretty good indicator. Once again, similar scenario, if not identical scenario. System tracking southwards, then westwards as it weakens, and then dies somewhere out here in the eastern Coral Sea. Don't stress about these ones that come close to the coast. They're doing so as a very, very weak trough. You wouldn't even know it if it was on your doorstep. That's how weak it is. So you can see the blue colouring here is over 1,010 hectopascals. So that's just the model doing some silly things at the back end of the forecast. But there is absolutely no sign that this system will come anywhere near the Queensland coast and provide us with any rain relief. For more details, we go into a lot more detail with our subscribers, and we also let them know well ahead. This system, I think we talked to them about at the start of November, or maybe end of October, we started to look ahead this far out. So if you are interested in these systems in a long-term perspective, and you're interested in more detail about these systems, please become an OCC subscriber. Help us out, support our work at join.ozcyclonechasers.com.au. Thanks for watching. We'll talk again next time there's a cyclone out there.